Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is How to App on iOS, and my name is Jade. And I hope everyone is ready for today, because we're back in Auria Pro. Yes, indeed. Welcome to the show, welcome to the show. So we had a bit of a mix up with the schedule yesterday and did an interview midway through the week just to break things up, break up the monotony a little bit there. And today we're going to be back in Auria Pro. So we've got two more little episodes of Auria Pro, and straight off the bat, let's talk about this. So I've got another copy of Auria Pro and Drumagog 5 to give away. So remember, we also are giving away LumaFusion. If you want to go back to the episode back at the start of the week, if you're watching the replay, there's a card up above my head. So go back there, leave a comment. On tomorrow's show, I'll be announcing the winner of LumaFusion. And also on tomorrow's show, I'll be announcing the winner of Auria Pro. So leave a comment on this video as well if you'd like to win Auria Pro and Drumagog, because it will be announced tomorrow with LumaFusion. So make sure you've got your comments on both of those videos so you can come in with a chance for that. All right, let's get into it straight away today. I don't think there's we'll have a quick look at apps. So Vocal Soloist, which I did an episode on a couple of weeks ago, that has dropped down $1 in price, so it's now $5.99. So get on to that. Flux has dropped a couple of dollars. Roxin still half price, so if you're considering getting Roxin after that episode I did, jump on that. I actually purchased this one last night, Bismarck, so I grabbed that because that's really cheap at the moment at $3.99. So that's really all for the updates kind of thing. So let's jump straight in to Auria Pro today. Let's just get straight to it, I reckon. So what we're looking at today is MIDI. And before I do anything else, have a vape. And g'day to the chat. Hello there, Russ, Langston Reese, Tom Rochelle. Good to see you today. All right, so we're looking at MIDI today, and because last time when I looked at Auria Pro, I really didn't touch MIDI at all. Now, of course, you know, we don't have a lot of time, so I'm not going to cover all the aspects of it. What I'm going to be covering today is the Lyra MIDI instruments that you get with Auria Pro. I'm also going to be covering how you can add inter-app audio and also your AUV3 plugins. So before we do anything else, I'm going to show you something that's really important. I know this is going to be really boring, but it's really important if you are going to dive into using Auria Pro. Now, if you've seen Pete Johns' series on Studio Live today, he did on Cubase's last week. You see, the learning curve of that is a little bit of a step up from GarageBand if you're coming from GarageBand. And you'll see this week, if you've already watched the first video Pete's done on Auria Pro, there's a bit of a learning curve up from Cubase's, and it's quite large, let's be honest. Mostly because it can be overwhelming to look at, and you know, if you're not used to a desk setup and you've come from somewhere like GarageBand, it can be overwhelming. So I'm going to show you this. So when you hit your menu, cool. When you hit your menu, you can see I am streaming, aren't I? I just got a warning saying that I'm not streaming. But anyway, that's bizarre. So I'll click this and make sure that's all working. No. If I can get a hello in the chat and make sure I am streaming. Yes, hello. I don't know if I am or not. Maybe I haven't set my stream key correctly. So if I haven't, can somebody let me know in the chat? If I'm not getting anything, I'll have to actually start the show again. Let's have a look. It says I'm streaming. It says everything's good. It says stream. Yep, good. Thanks, Russ. Bizarre, my chat's just not working in my OBS. Bloody OBS, damn you to hell. So anyway, let's get back into it. So when you click on the menu here, in Auria Pro, right down the bottom, these three little things here are really important. I'm going to go over these very quickly. So first, you've got your user guide. When you click on that, it pops you out into a browser and it takes you straight here to this website. And you've got a couple of options here. And I'm going to click this top one, Auria and Auria Pro 2.18 user guide. When you click on that, it'll open a PDF. And here's what's good. This is something that you don't get with a lot of apps. Right? And I know it's boring because you have to read and all that kind of stuff, but you get this amazing user guide. Now, if I just scroll to the introduction so you can see here the table of contents, it's a PDF, and I mean, look, it goes for 100, 200, 225 pages. So you get a really in-depth instructional manual on everything. They cover absolutely everything from low memory, everything you can imagine, right? The MIDI sequencing, the MIDI assignments, I mean, how to purchase everything. There's a link to like where you get the bonus content, which a lot of people don't know because they don't read the instructions. But this thing is so deep and so good. I've spent many nights reading over this and going back to it. And every time I go back and have a read of it, I always come away with something new because it's just so full of information. So just wanted to put that out first. Second thing, when you click on the menu, you are taken to the Auria forum. This is invaluable because the two people who run this, Rim and Corey, they constantly are in this forum, actually there all the time. So you are speaking directly to the developers and they will respond to you super quickly. So any bug reports, you can report straight away. There's people offering tips. There's actually, what's really cool, there's an audio interface section, and it tells you all the audio interfaces that currently work with iPad and with Auria, any issues like that. There's a whole plugin section. It's really, really handy. The third section is when you first install Auria, you'll notice down the bottom here, there's the Auria store. So when you go there, and for some reason, why am I not going there? There we are. So there's the Auria store, and you've got a whole bunch of plugins, IR files, all these add-ons and stuff. And what a lot of people don't know is here under Lyra samples, when you click on that, there's a whole bunch of free MIDI instruments that you really should be downloading. So your jazz drum kit, metal drum kit, these things are free. So it's worthwhile to go in there and grab them. And also under MIDI loops, when you click on that, there is a bunch of MIDI drum grooves there to grab for free straight away. So you're already getting a whole bunch of content. Now let me get out of the store and just head back over to the forum because I want to show you this. In general discussion, and a lot of people don't know this, as soon as you install, there's this link, there's this thread here called bonus content link. When you click on this link, it takes you to a page where all you have to do is register and you'll get a whole bunch more stuff. ARIA loops, IR files, so a whole bunch of stuff, and people miss this. So it's just handy to have because, hey, this app is expensive at the end of the day, so you want to get as many free things as you can and whack them on in there. So now that we've covered that, let's get back into Auria, and we're going to start a brand new project, and we're going to make it only MIDI. So we're just working with MIDI today, and what I'm going to do, so you click the menu and new project, and you get this little section here with templates. So I'm not going to go for a 16 track MIDI. What I will do, let's close that. Actually, I will. I'll just, let's just go none. We'll just call this how to app HTA, and we will pick, I don't think, no, if we can pick MIDI tracks, we'll just go with 0 tracks and hit save. And here we are, and all you're given at the start of this, which I covered in another video, is just your sub buses. And these sub buses are used once you add tracks. Say you have 8 drum tracks, you can point all of those 8 drum tracks into one sub track, like this one. So you can, it's easy to mix down the entire drum kit with one fader, as opposed to the 8 individual pieces of your drum kit. So let's go ahead and add a track. So again, clicking menu, and nice and easy, Everything's written out very easily. Add track. And you've got an option to do a mono track, stereo, or a MIDI. We're just going to add one simple MIDI track. And there it is. So as I've covered in a video before, up the top of each track, so everything's vertical the way it works here, your top button, FX, brings up this channel strip panel. And as you can see straight away, when I open this up, it's pretty explanatory. So you've got your instrument that you're actually going to be using as MIDI, your channels. If you've used MIDI before, you'll understand how this works. Your input and output, I've just got automatically it's set to all, so it should pick up any MIDI controllers that I have plugged in. And right now I have my drum kit plugged in and my keyboard, so I'm going to be showing you how to do that as well. You've got your velocity section here in parameters, so you can change your velocity strength, the compression of your velocity. You've got a compose button down here, your legato for getting extension of a note, a sustain kind of thing. Across here you've got your quantize section. So all these things are in apps like GarageBand. They just look a little bit different. Okay, and then you've got your overall levels down here, your MIDI volume, and you've got a panning button. You've got your level, solo, and a mute button down here in the bottom corner, and you can add effects in here in your channel strip, like reverb and things like that. AUV3 plugins, all those kind of things. When you click across here to the channel strip, this brings up the standard channel strip that you would be presented with when you're just creating an audio track, not a MIDI track, which has an expander, your equalizer, and a compressor built in. But when you're working with MIDI, it gives you this option here. So let's show you something else. Now you'll notice where the name of the instrument is here. So it's automatically set to a grand piano. There's a little E next to that. When I click on this E, it brings up the system that runs the MIDI, which is called Lyra, however you want to call it. And it gives you a whole bunch of things like tuning. You can add some distortion down here, your envelope, your filter, all pretty standard stuff if you've ever used a synth before. Again, volume. And down here in this little right hand corner is your keyboard, so you can flick between your drum pads or your keyboard. You can, if you touch the keyboard and move your finger, you can see that the keyboard moves, much like GarageBand if you're coming from there, and that can be annoying. But if you hit lock just up there, now when you scroll, your fingers will move across. Okay, so you've got a sustain key, but the way this works is a bit different. So you'd have to hold it down to get sustain. So if I just touch it, it disappears straight away. Where are we? Where'd my piano go? I've lost the sound of my piano. Nice! We'll get that back in a minute. I know why it's not there. So this is your basic keyboard session. If you've got drums, that's where they'll appear. I know what I've done wrong. There we are. Got to bring the keyboard back to here. Right. So if I hold down that sustain and let go, of course, it's, if you're using a controller, that's going to be completely different because you can have a pedal attached to that, which will control that sustain. So this is the Lyra setup. So now that you've seen that, how do we get the sound to come through here? Up the top here, let's get my mouse in place. You've got a record button and this little musical note. This allows the MIDI to come through. So I'm going to click that on, and now when I'm just hitting my my controller. So let's change screen so you can see what I'm doing. Cool. So if I turn that little musical note off, there's no sound anymore. And if you happen to watch Pete's video yesterday on Auria Pro, you will see when he tried to open a MIDI track, he got a bit flummoxed and went, "Oh, I can't, why am I not getting any sound? Why am I getting?" And he opened the little keyboard here and he's pressing all the buttons. And why am I not getting any sound? And I messaged him after the show. I was just like, just add that little musical note. And now you've got it. So all good in the hood. So let's have a look at what you get as MIDI instruments already built into Auria Pro. There's a few ways you can get to it, okay? You've got plenty of ways to get to it. You have over here this little section. Let's go back full screen for a tick. So you can see that says Stereo G, so that's your stereo grand piano. You can click on that and it'll bring up a menu here. That's one way. Or as I showed you before, you can click on the effects button and it brings up this and you can choose from there. Or you can go into Lyra and choose from Lyra. You've got an up and down to change through banks when you're in Lyra as well. Let's get out of there. So if I hit the down or the up over here, you can flick through that way. Plus, if you are in this track view, so this is your WAV form track view or your MIDI editing, which if you've used GarageBand or Cubase, anything like that, you'll be well aware of this kind of look with your piano there, and you can add notes in here. Now I'm not really going to go too much into this today with time, but tomorrow we'll be looking at this editor and we'll be looking at putting a song together for the final episode of this. And now the way I'm skipping through to this editor here, there's a little cross here just to get out of that. Oh, what I was showing you is if another way to change your instrument. You'll notice over here, there's another drop box there. You can change your instruments through there. So you've got like 4 or 5 different ways to change your instruments. Just make sure that note there is turned on. Now I'll close that out. So let's have a look at what we've got. We'll do it in Lyra because you get so you get drums off the bat, and as you saw at the beginning when I went into this store, I added like a bunch of kits that were free, and that included like a retro kit, a jazz drum kit, a metal kit. So if I'm just using my keyboard, let's go over to the drum pads. So we got it's a rock kit. What else do we have here? There's a metal kit. There's plenty of kits there, but I will be honest, look, the kits aren't really that awesome. They're not the greatest kits. They're nothing compared to something like GarageBand or the drum kits that you get in Cubases. I will not piss in your pocket over that. I should also say hello to Darren Bryan and Pete Johns. Welcome to the show. Let me just flick over back to my extra cam. So as you know, I've got my MIDI keyboard here. Now I'll tell you, when I just loaded up Auria Pro, I haven't like set up my keyboard or anything. I've just got them constantly plugged into a USB hub. Same with my drums, and I didn't even add anything and they just started working. So let me just scoot my camera over here. So there's my drum kit, and as you can see, and I've got my keyboard going. So really I could just do my bass drum and a combination if I was a spider monkey. So let's scoot back to the keyboard. I'll try and get both of them in shot because I'm going to be using both. So there's your drums. Let's go through a few other things that you get. So you get a choir, and we'll go back to keyboard here. So you only get a couple of them. Where are we? What's the other one? It's an ah choir. Ah, open up and say ah. You also get a few brass instruments. So you've got a trumpet here. Let's select that. brass section. Now again, the MIDI, I believe, I'm just going to go out and say it. Some of the instruments are not really that strong with the MIDI with Auria Pro. Now, and I put that down to, I don't know if this is something that, the developers have meant or anything, but this to me, why I like Auria Pro is it reminds me of an actual recording studio because of the way the desk is set out. So I like that feel. It's familiar to me when I look at this kind of setting and see all the knobs and everything, because I grew up recording in studios. So that's one of the main reasons I really like Auria. But, not to fear in relation to MIDI, because there are still some great instruments in here. Let's see, just have a look at a trombone. What else have we got? So there's some woodwind, there's some flutes. And when I say, it's not the best, there's some great sounds in here as well. What else? We've got some bass. We've got some slap bass. We got a finger bass. Cool. See, that's not the best. I've heard a lot better. I'm just being completely honest. So you got some pianos. You got a couple of grand. You got a few. An Italian grand piano. What else? We got this. This is the grand piano you start with, I do believe. Scoot down and look at some more stuff in there. So you got some organs, got a rock organ, electric pianos, guitars. Do we really even need to do that? Guitars never sound good in MIDI. They just never do, and they never will. So some mallets. You've got some percussion, so xylophones, things like that. Oh my God, you've even got some castanets. And again, if I scoot over here to my drum kit, let's just turn down my mic for a sec. You can even use a drum kit to play that kind of stuff. Yeah. So look, that's what you get basically. It's not a lot, but it's stuff to work on. Plus, what I'm going to cover next really makes up for that, because we've got Interap audio and we do have AUV3 plugins, which is awesome too. And as I said at the beginning of the show, when you click on the Auria store, you do have, when we click on, so there's a few things you can buy as so you've got some drums down here to buy. There's more drums in there you can actually purchase. And oops, I don't want to do that. Anyway, let's have a look at some Interap audio. We'll get rid of the clicks. So we will pop back into here. I don't think I can actually do it from there. So we will click from here. Also, sorry, when I said backtrack a little bit, I think I need a quick vape. When I said at the start of the show, if you go to the Auria forum and download that little bonus content pack, you get these. If you look here, you've got FabFilter 1 and FabFilter Twin 2. So again, there's a whole bunch of other things in here. So you've got some synth stuff, some orchestral stuff, violin and a flute. You've got some more bass stuff, some lead, saws and stuff like that, some pads, some effects. It's only a couple of effects, but this bonus stuff is worth grabbing. An old piano, some bells, more effects, more orchestral stuff, some bass. This is more synth stuff that you're getting here. So there's plenty of other things. We've got what's this, a lo-fi piano. So there's a bunch of other stuff in there as well that you can play with. But now we are going to have a look at, and we're going to look at drums primarily. Because let's face it, synth apps on iOS are a dime a dozen. There's so many of them. But finding good drum apps to add in here, and because the drum selection of Auria Pro isn't the tastiest, I'm going to show you how you can use inter-app audio directly through here and some AUV3 stuff. So let's just scroll. And as I mentioned in a previous video, you can tell audio units compared to inter-app audio. So they're color coded, so you know which is which. Let's see, what do we have here in? Let's go with AUV3 first. So we've got a EG Pulse, which I've done a show on previously. And what it does is it gives you a window of EG Pulse. You can drag it and make it full screen. Cool, let's spin that around, and it should be working over here as well. So that'll just work seamlessly. Plus it's all here on your keyboard. Let's scoot out of there. Let's have a look at something else that's in here. So we've got Digisticks. Let's load that up. Once again, you can drag from the corner and make this larger. And I'm just going to grab a default drum kit that I've set up previously. So nice and easy. And again, everything's here. Plus, not forgetting at any time, you can open up your Lyra and can we do it through here? Let me check. I think you've got to have, if you're, all right, so let's cover this as well, because I think I went through this with Pete last night. I'll just make sure it's not coming through again for some reason. Bear with me one tick. Nope. Could be because, and when it's because I'm using, I will get back to you on that. And you know what I'll do? I'll sort that out for tomorrow's show. But it's because I'm using the AUV3, and I didn't look at that before. Starting. There we go. So don't even take my own advice. See what I did wrong there? I didn't have this little button click, this little MIDI note here. See, turn that off and nothing works. Turn it on and everything comes back. What I haven't worked out, and I said this to Pete last night in the chat we were having, for some reason I can't get the pads to work in here, and it could be something I'm going to have to message Auria about. I've tried everything, but I will sort that out and hopefully get back to you tomorrow on that. But let's get back into some other drum things you can add in here. So we'll go through our list of drums. What else do I have in here? Let's just go down to some inter-app audio, because you know people always bitch about inter-app audio going, but it's not AUV3. But let's see how seamlessly it actually works for drum kits. So what have I got? I've got Barber X drums. I haven't even looked at this in a show. So let's try loading this one up. It's a little bit different because it opens the app. That's what inter-app audios do. So hit play, turn this volume down. So this is this particular app. And if I have a look at my, and see, that happened to me last night. Now, how did I fix that? There was a way I fixed that and I can't recall. Let's have a look. We'll open that up again. Oops. We shall close that. And open about X drums. I think I changed. See, I hit my drum kit then, and it shut the thing down. It crashed, and there was a reason that happened last night, and I couldn't work. I actually fixed it. See, it's done it again. Look at that. We'll try it one more time because there was something I did to fix that. It was something to do with volume, if I remember correctly. So just bear with me 1 second. What I think it could have also been, so pull down the volume. What was it that I did? God, I hate having a really shit memory. Let's try doing a different drum kit, if that helps. No. I'll get back to you on that. I have a feeling it was something small that I did to fix that. Or maybe it's just this app. Let's turn the volume right down. There we go, I fixed it. Cool. What did I do? So I turned off the MIDI button and I turned off record over in Auria Pro, and that's what fixed that, strangely enough. So that's what I did last night too. So now, as you can see, over on my drum kit, we can give this some volume now. Oops. So everything's just seamlessly working. Not seamlessly, as you saw, I went through a bit of trouble there. So let's pop back over into Auria. Let's try another inter-app audio drum kit. So drum session. This is another drum kit I'll be looking at soon because I'm doing another drum week soon. We'll just ignore that, because there's some really good sounds in this that I have discovered. This was sent to me by the developer a few weeks ago. And what's good about this, straight away, as you can see, a little panel has been offered to me here. So, because it opens up the app to, so you've got all your pads in here and you can change your sounds. You've got different drum kits, jazz kits. There's a whole lot of cool drum kits in this particular app. Hopefully I'll look at this in the coming next week. But this little button up here can scoot me back over to Auria Pro. We'll give it some volume, and once again, awesome. And this is inter-app audio. So one more we can pull up. Let's see what we've got. So there's another one I wanted to pull up before moving forward. Where are you? It was not X Drummer, it was Drum Perfect, I do believe. There it is, Drum Perfect. So this thing is amazing. Drum Perfect is sick. Super complex. It is like owning a high-end drum machine. Really amazing. Kits are sick, and you can import so much into this. But I will be covering this app soon. Awesome! And again, what's good, you've been given this little transport up the top here, so you can stay in this app and record into Auria Pro. So just to give you an example, I'll hit the record button. I'll make sure we're set to record over here, and we'll pop back over into Drum Perfect. So I should be able to hit record from here. Maybe. No, that's, I know what I'm doing wrong. That's if I program stuff, so that's how that works. Okay, so I haven't done that before. But even if I hit record in here, in Auria Pro, get that back to the start. No track selected, so we want to select the track. And hit record. Ah. So I was adding notes to that while it was actually recording the MIDI, which is cool. As you can see there, it was recording a basic beat and I was adding ride hits in there. But we'll cover more of this kind of stuff tomorrow. So let's delete that sucker. And let's just quickly cover, what have we got? Something like, what can we throw in just quickly before we close off the show? Oh, that's not drums, not drums, not drums. So we'll throw in Synthmaster 1. So a lot of people would know about Synthmaster 1. Pull down the volume a bit there. And what I will do is just close out Drum Perfect and all of these. And try again. And I've lost sound. Yeah, I love that shit. That's what happens when you've got too many things running in the background. Anyway, I'm going to close it off there because we're going to cover more of this tomorrow. And again, I'm trying to keep the shows not so long because it can be a bit tiring. So there you can see there's plenty of options for actually bringing in MIDI into this setup. And the beautiful thing is also you still can have audio tracks as well. Before I do get out of here, we'll go back to my piano standard. And I've lost all sound, which I'll probably have to reboot. Let's just do that to show you how easy it is. Have to reboot Auria. There we go, we're back. Cool. So that is an overview of your MIDI instruments. And tomorrow we'll look at editing MIDI notes and mixing down a song with MIDI tracks and audio tracks and do a quick mix of a song and wrap all of that up. So just to remind you all once again, if you would like to win a copy of Auria Pro, make sure you leave a comment on this video. Make sure you leave a comment on the LumaFusion because tomorrow I will be giving away a full copy of Auria Pro with a full copy of Drumagog to install into Auria Pro, and also giving away a full copy of LumaFusion with a month subscription to StoryBlocks. And they're both quite expensive apps, so make sure you're in the running to win one of those. Thank you very much for hanging out with me once again today. I'm now going to go for a lovely walk and burn off some of the lockdown fat that I'm carrying. And please like, share, and subscribe. And if you are watching these videos and you haven't subscribed to my channel, because I know you're out there, I look at the statistics. All right, I'm not incredibly anal, but I have looked at the statistics and I see about half of you are watching the videos and not subscribing. All right, so do that. You can follow me on Facebook. You can go to my website, jadestarr.com.au, and listen to my music if you so desire. But that will wrap it up for today, my friends. I hope you all have a fantastic day ahead. And as always, thank you for supporting me on this channel in this crazy little show. And I hope everything is damn groovy. And I hope you have a wonderful day, whatever it is you're doing. So stay gangster, stay rockin', stay metal. And I'll see you all tomorrow.